Hello, this is Cynthia Martinez and this is my Vlog 3. So for my second encounter with Carla Leal, she decided that to show me more about herself and to teach me more about her culture. She decided to make me a home-cooked meal because she's very good at cooking in her apartment, and she of course lives with her boyfriend, so she invited me and myself and my boyfriend to come over and have dinner with them. When we got there, we noticed they live together, and they have while we were talking during the dinner, in which she made mole with arroz. She was cooking, and I was helping her out, and while she was cooking, I've caught on to some things that she was telling me that she's the one that cooks in the house, and her and her boyfriend grew up in a very Mexican type of culture, so he's used to having his mom cook him all the meals and to basically not help when preparing them. So, and she was raised the same way. So when I was helping her cook, I noticed that her boyfriend was sitting on the couch and playing video games, playing Nintendo. And as a person that's in a relationship, I do not agree with those methods, because I was raised in a culture where even if anyone who's cooking, you help them out as much as they can. Doesn't matter what gender you are. So I would, of course, my boyfriend was helping out with doing certain things, and when we asked if he wanted to help, he said no, and then she told us that he doesn't really like to cook. So that was something I noticed, and then of course we set the table, we started eating, and I came to the realization that they do a lot of things together. They are mostly in their apartment besides work and school, but it's like basically if they're already married, a type of relationship. And for them it's typical because she told me that her mother got married at such a young age, and we have that in common with my mother. But my mom raised us to fight for being equal as a man, and in a Mexican culture, women are perceived as the woman. Some are still perceived as the woman of the house, and for me, I thought things weren't as traditional as before, and it appears that they are. Just being in that dinner table with them, you could hear how she relies a lot on him, and they're always together, and they're very traditional. Like they rarely go out. They hang out with friends in their apartment. They have mutual friends, and she's basically the one that, when she comes home, she says that she comes home from work, and if he's there, she makes some food, which is like, I would expect if you were in a relationship to have that type of understanding, that if one of you is more busy, if one of the person is more busier than the other, then they would take consideration and make a meal for the other person. But for her, even when she's the one that has to go home and cook, go home from work, she has to cook for him, which I just thought is not fair. And I mean, we're invited again to go eat with him, but I just hopefully like if when we hang out more, he'll like see that things my boyfriend does and how he helps out around the kitchen, whether it's helping us prepare the meal or like he helped us clean the dishes afterwards. And her boyfriend was just on the dinner table just like talking, and maybe someday she'll see that you can have a relationship with understanding of being able to help each other and having that same amount of rights and just having that same understanding of he can cook too, he can prepare you a meal, that you can demand some more help in the house and that you don't have to rely on him as much. That is what I noticed, and it sort of upset me because I wanted to tell him like, can you help your girlfriend out, but we don't know each other to that extent. So it was a very delicious dinner which she cooked by herself.
Okay.
With our
Let's let him know. Thanks, ladies.